evening, I'm Mia Salazar and welcome back to Franciscan Beat News. Jewish organizations in the United States held a large demonstration yesterday at the National Mall in Washington, D.C. Tens of thousands of people gathered in a show of solidarity with Israel as it wages war in Gaza in response to the October 7th attack by Hamas that killed more than 1,200 people. The rally, the March for Israel, occurred after large protests across the United States denounced the Israeli military campaign in Gaza. The event was intended to be a response to critics of Israel and anti-Semitism. President of the Jewish Federation of North America, Eric Fingerhut, said, "It became clear that even though every poll, every data point shows that the American people overwhelmingly support Israel in its battle against Hamas, we were increasingly hearing from opposing voices who are on the fringe, but who are very loud. Educators, artists, students, and relatives of some of the hundreds of hostages seized by Hamas were there. Israeli President Isaac Herzog addressed the tens of thousands of demonstrators via video and called for the release of all hostages held by Hamas. He also praised the Biden administration and pro-Israel lawmakers for their moral clarity and bold action in standing with Israel." The House passed a stopgap bill on Tuesday to keep the government open and avert a shutdown. Next, the Senate will need to approve the measure, and President Biden is prepared to sign the bill if it is passed by the Senate. The stopgap bill passed by the House on a bipartisan bias with a vote of 336 to 95. More Democrats support the measure than Republicans, a warning sign for newly elected House Speaker Mike Johnson, who is pursuing an unusual two-step plan that would set up two new shutdown deadlines in January and February. Americans saw a broad shutdown in inflation last month as consumer prices were flat overall and rose only 3.2% from a year earlier. Core prices, which exclude food and energy items, rose a modest 0.2% in October from the prior month. The slowdown reflected lower prices for cars and airfares and milder growth in housing costs and will likely end the Federal Reserve's historic interest rate increase. But bringing inflation all the way down to the Federal's 2% goal may actually take a long time, said Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Thank you for joining me tonight on Franciscan Beat. I'm your host, Mia Salazar, and I'll see you next time.